what would you like the audience to know about you?
What I would like them to know about me is that there is help and that I specialize in helping people break free from narcissistic abuse. And, there's so many different things out there right now that a lot of people get confused, and understandably so. Like, even people in the field get confused by it. And unfortunately, that could do harm. So I just really want to direct them to good care. And hopefully they would come see me and my team if possible. And I also have
Okay.
a free gift if they want to find out. Because one of the main things, like, as you know, I deal with narcissistic abuse. So one of the main things, Clifford, is that people don't know whether or not they're in that type of relationship or situation.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
that makes
No,
sense.
that makes a
I
lot
don't
of
know. Is
sense.
there something in particular you think people would want to know about me? I'm open to
Um,
suggestions.
that is a tough question. It's a tough question because what I've realized is people who are in it don't even realize that they're in it, and so they don't even know to raise their hand to get help. It's very interesting, actually.
I know your mind's racing. I can see it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it. It's a challenging topic, man, and it's a crazy topic too, because like I think about a fish only knows it's out of water when it's out of water,
Mm,
and so
yeah.
there's that piece of like I'm trying to jump into the head of a person like that, and it's really hard for me having a
Yeah.
fighter's background, and we like just had a very very different story
Mm,
than them, and even in hearing their story, like it's interesting. When I meet them, I just want to hug them so much, like, and make all the pain go away. But
mm,
what I think will happen, and I'm just kind of taking a guess here. Okay, so I think so we know the end in mind, what we want to accomplish, and
mm-hmm.
I think the answers will reveal itself from having the conversation. That's what I tend to notice pretty consistently. So yeah, we'll start now,
Okay.
and
I do have a client at 3. Do you think we would be done by then?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Because
Okay.
I do enjoy speaking with you, so I'm like, oh, I get lost in conversation. And
Thank you.
I mean, I would have at least brushed my hair for this, but I
we can
didn't.
do it another time if you would feel more comfortable for another time.
Whatever.
Yeah,
That's part of being in my field. And okay.
it, yeah, it's completely up to you. I
Only you know
just
I didn't do that yet today. Okay.
the one thing that I do know is because it's on my mind, I'm going to be asking the questions anyway, and you're
Hope I
going to
can
be
answer
answering
them.
them, and I want them to be kind of authentic. I don't want to
Oh
re-ask
boy.
them.
Is your audience okay if I swear?
I effing think so. Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
Like,
All
um, and if not, I guess we can bleep them out. But if you want to go raw and deep, yeah, let's go raw and deep. Let's have some fun.
right. Okay. Let
That's
me
what I
just
say.
adjust my shirt because it's actually busting my belly. Okay. I won't brush my hair, but I will adjust my shirt.
Okay.
Okay. All
Awesome.
right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
everybody.
That's
I am Clifford Starks, and I am here with the amazing Melissa. Um, Melissa is, oh, you know what? I screwed something up, actually, because I don't have any intro for you. Would you be comfortable introducing yourself?
how long of the intro do you want?
Just short, like 15 seconds, 30 seconds.
You could just say I'm a. It feels so weird introducing myself.
Okay.
I'm a therapist that specializes in helping people break free from narcissistic abuse and whatever else you want to say about me. As long as it's good things.
Absolutely.
Should I take my sweater off my door?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Are you gonna see me in jogging pants? Oh my god, I would have dressed. Okay, baby. Hi. I hope you have good editors.
We're gonna find out. Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, Clifford Starks here, the man with the fighter's formula, and I am here today with the amazing Melissa. We had an amazing conversation when I first got to meet with her, and Melissa is a therapist who helps people break away from narcissistic abuse. So I love to learn, and if you're here watching, I know you love to learn, and I'm going to learn a lot from Melissa because I'm going to dive deep, ask questions, and learn more as I'm going through the process. So, Melissa, I appreciate you being on today.
Thanks, Clifford. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, yeah.
Hopefully, I
Thank
live
you,
up to
thank you.
your expectations. Okay.
You said what?
I said, I hope I live up to your expectations.
Oh, you will. You will. You're going to crush it. I'm not even
Okay.
worried about it.
Okay,
So,
let's
but
do
I do want to ask, what even got you started in the
this.
profession that you're in right now, supporting those with narcissistic abuse?
With narcissistic abuse. To be honest, everyone in the field, we get into the field because of our own issues. And myself, I was in a relationship, actually several relationships with people who have narcissistic tendencies, and actually was raised by a narcissist. So I know the pain and the loneliness and the dread and the physiological um, weirdness that comes with it. Like medical providers may not understand what's going on, but it's actually trauma. And I know that it really sucks and it's really misunderstood. And so once I felt and dealt with my own journey, to be honest, actually studied pardon me, under Dr. Carol McBride. She's probably the leading expert in the world, as far as I know, with maternal narcissism. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually came to learn of her because I used to watch Dr. Phil for entertainment. Sorry, I used to watch him for entertainment, like getting ready in the morning before I went to my specialized government job. That I was like one of the senior case managers for very unwell individuals, and I would be watching it, and he actually had a show that was called Mothers Who Hate Their Children. And I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting, sounds familiar, right? And,
Mm-hmm.
I started watching it and I got these really weird physiological reactions. And as a social worker, I'm a trained social worker, I've been in the field for 20 plus years. We have to ethically realize what that is and deal with it, because then we have no business serving if we don't. And I realized that these were feelings I felt since I was probably really, really young. I would even suspect probably even months old. And I just never had a word or conceptualized it or anything like that. And so I dug deep, and they had this expert on named Dr. Carol McBride. She's lovely, a fantastic clinician. I adore her personally and professionally. And I watched her, and I'm like, I'll get this person's book. I should deal with it. And to be honest, I'm her only level 2 therapist here in Canada. There's a few select of us in the world currently. And I told her in her last training, I said, Dr. McBride, I met and learned about maternal narcissism actually through Dr. Phil, which she's like, oh boy. And I said, I learned about your services and your specialized program. I went through it myself, and now I want to help others with it. And when I read your first book, I actually got mad at you. I actually took the book and I said, fuck this, McBride. I threw it out the window and I said, I don't want to deal with this. And then I realized that's because I need to. And so, out of my own pain and journey, I actually started serving others. And even though there's probably on average only about 10% of people actually qualify throughout the world for narcissistic personality disorder, actual label, if you want to use that word, they do a lot of damage. And so it's my mission to help people not be alone and help them heal, grow, and hopefully know what real love is. So that's a long story, but that's why I got into it.
Yeah.
It was just
No,
one
thank you
morning I
for
decided to
sharing.
watch something and I was just like, that's it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing. And, to know what real love is, I
Mm-hmm.
want to ask the question, okay, through the book,
Yeah.
would
I
you
have it
be
now, but
open
yes.
to, okay, would you be open to sharing like when you were in that space of throwing the book, and then what space did you get up into to even pick the book back up?
My bride won't like this. It probably took me solid few months to a year to really start doing that work because there's so
Hmm.
much pain and hate and grief that's complicated and traumatic that people really don't understand. Moms and parents are supposed to love their kids. They're supposed to treat them. They're supposed to protect them, right? And so you have all these other noises from society, cultures, religions, well-intended, lovely people on top of that that tell you what you experience is wrong. So a lot of myself included and the people I serve, we go through this really horrible journey, and it's really lonely and isolating. And I think it took me not speaking to anyone in my family. So I'm in northern rural Alberta. My family's in Ontario or Nigeria, and like, all those other beautiful places. And I was very alone. I didn't talk to anyone for months. And it was actually because I couldn't, because no one really got it. And so it was after probably a snowstorm, I don't remember, or sometime Easter when you're supposed to call in and say hi to your family. And when I called them, I just remember feeling this pain. And I was just like, that's exactly why I don't talk to them. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I understand that for sure. A lot of pain and trauma behind it. And then what would you even call it? Because I would call it courage, but I
Mm.
would like to know your answer to it. What made you say, I need to pick this book back up?
I'm stubborn. And I have always been a problem solver. And so when you're raised by a narcissistic parent, I actually raised my siblings. I actually raised my mother, if you want to think about it that way, as a child, right? So with my limited abilities and capabilities. So I'm used to fixing things. I'm used to pushing through. I'm used to ignoring my own wellness as well too, right? But I'm used to all these things. But to be honest, while I have a stubbornness and I'm like, oh, this doesn't feel good, I'm like, I'm a social worker and that is something that is in my blood. And I love social work with a passion. And we ethically have to deal with our shit. But I tell
Hmm.
all students, you have no business to serve unless you work on yourself. And so I see a lot of clinicians in my practice too, right? And
Hmm.
they tend to be probably more complicated cases, to be honest. Just like, doctors are the worst patients, as are nurses, and, kind of like that, right? And it was really because I'm like, I really love serving people and I love seeing them heal and I love the most complicated situations and people are in. And I'm like, I need to do this in order to continue to be a good therapist and social worker. So it's actually, even though it's for me, it was more geared towards being sure I could continue to serve, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then there was something about dealing with your shit.
Yeah.
Like, where did you learn that lesson from?
Um, wow, probably years of training in school, right? Because you don't really, most people get a pass and they're like, I have social anxiety, you deal with it. I'm like, no, you have to find ways to deal with it yourself, right? And
Mm.
um, I just remember my undergrad, just one professor in particular just strongly encouraging us all to deal with our stuff, right? And I
Mm.
mean, he was more eloquent than I am. And, basically making sure that we don't do harm. Just
Yeah.
like doctors have an oath not to do harm, so do social workers and nurses and all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, what I love about that is there's the saying, success leaves clues. And my mind goes into everything leaves clues. You know,
Mm.
what are we choosing to look at and what are we choosing not to?
Mm-hmm.
And so respect to you for being able to even see the clue. You know, like
Yeah.
sometimes they're around us
Mm.
and we don't see them, or we don't even see them right then and there, right? Something
Yeah.
happens and we go, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So that is absolutely huge. And you know, if you were to speak to the audience who may be dealing with something like this, may be dealing with these challenges, what clues could they potentially look for?
Mm. Are you referring to like how they might be feeling? I think might be the biggest.
Yeah, like, and I wouldn't know exactly how to ask this question,
Okay.
but you saw something. There was
Mm-hmm.
something that made you pick it back up,
Mm.
and it was a professor who spoke a certain
Mm-hmm.
way and made you
Mm-hmm.
go, oh, I'm doing this. I'm gonna deal with my
Mm-hmm.
shit.
Yeah.
What could another person look for to say, okay, what?
Mm. Yeah. As much as it was the other professor, I think it's also some personalities. Like, you don't, something doesn't feel right. It really feels off. And like, if you really want to go all the way back, Clifford, like from my own personal experience, like I remember, like, I think I shared with you before, I kind of teased you a little bit about like I'm a fighter, right?
Hmm.
And unfortunately, that doesn't fare well sometimes for girls back in the 80s. But it definitely, I remember when I was a little girl, I grew up with all men, right? My mom, she tried her best. I will give her that, of course. But I remember watching other daughters with their mothers. Like sometimes they would hold their hands, like a 2, 4 year old, you hold a little kid's hand. Like I just thought, like you were talking to your kid, you're very sweet to your kid, right? Um,
Hmm.
that really surprises me. It's really bizarre to me. I'm like, why would
Hmm.
a mom hold someone's hand? That's what I would think when I was a kid. Why are you being nice to them? Other people wanted to be my mother. I was actually really, really nice, good kid, right? And not just saying that, but I was really puzzled by it. And I knew something didn't feel right. And thankfully, unlike some other people, I didn't fully internalize that it was me. I just knew something
Hmm.
was wrong or not right. And a part of it was me, but I didn't understand the situation. It's really complex even for adults, right? So I always
Hmm.
want to figure it out, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
no, it
noticed
definitely
you're
does.
I know that's really hard for people to hear. And, to be honest, a lot of clients, Clipper, I serve, um, one client in particular, lovely individual, she told me this is how deep it runs. It's like a trauma that is so deep that people may not understand. She actually was really surprised. She was like, I can't remember how old your child is. I think in around that age, was so
Hmm.
surprised that car stopped for her when she walked across the street because she truly felt and believed that she was invisible. And it just blew her mind. And still to this age, she's a fantastic nurse. She's been in the field for 40 plus years. She is a nurse you want on your side. She still thinks she's somewhat invisible.
Hmm.
And so we carry those wounds with us.
Yeah, it's the world can give us so many challenges as we go through the process, and I want to say being a fighter myself, stepping inside of a cage, stepping inside of a ring, there's also that the most powerful thing that I feel about myself is my ability to love other people. There's nothing stronger than the ability to love others. And that's why I get to meet amazing people like yourself,
Yeah.
who is doing the same thing
Mm-hmm.
and doing it in the way that she does it and me doing it in the way that I do it. And just reminding people to pick up the book, I think.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, it's pick up the book. And when
Yeah.
it's uncomfortable, this is what's kind of interesting. I go through my journey and say the things that trigger me the most are sometimes where my biggest lessons lie.
Mm-hmm.
And it might feel uncomfortable when I'm
Mm-hmm.
going through it.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it eases up, because sometimes it feels like a storm,
Yeah.
when I get through that storm, that's where the transformation lies. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where the freedom lies. So yeah, no, I appreciate that. And so you said you were a level 2 therapist as well?
That's correct. Yes, with her program.
Okay. And how long does it take to get to those kind of accolades?
Oh. Um, Great question. So I think people need to have a certain amount of um, credentials already before and have substantial amount of work and trauma as well. And you have to have her first level. So for me, I have 7 years of post secondary education plus a few things behind my name, and I think with her program, probably a few additional years of training, maybe about 1 or 2, so a
Nice.
few years. Yeah.
Nice. Very good. Okay.
Mhm.
Awesome.
You
And
mentioned a
then,
bit about, sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, what were you saying?
Yeah, you mentioned about how the almost like a red flag or like the signs, and so it's like
Hmm.
how you feel. Like when um, I know you're big about energy, and I call them emotional vampires. Like you feel a certain way when you're around someone,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, and like and you people and energy is contagious, a lot of
Mm,
times, right? Just like attitude and all those other things. But it's like what I always say to your audience is, how do you feel around them? How do you feel when you're not around them, right?
mm.
And I think that's the biggest cue. Like when after I'm done chatting with you, my partner's all like, okay, enough about Clifford. I'm like, Clifford's so cool. I want to hang out and do all that other stuff. And he's like, okay, cool. Maybe I'll hang out one day, right? I'm like, cool. But I wouldn't be like that after someone who's like someone who's a narcissist.
That
Like
makes a
most
lot of
people will be
sense.
confused, drained, tired. It can activate a lot of trauma responses for people, right? So it's
Mm,
really like, how do you feel? Like some people have mental health issues where they don't eat well, they don't sleep well, their nightmares resurface again. Like they can have a whole gamut of things. So for me, it's all about feelings. But as survivors, and also probably when you're fighting, you have to maybe put some of your feelings on hold, right? Just like the military personnel I serve, you have to put feelings on hold in order to do the things that you need to do, right? Survivors
hmm
do the same thing. So sometimes we
hmm
really second guess that. They're like, oh no, I'm like, I ate something I wasn't supposed I ate some Cheetos a second ago, right? So maybe that's why I'm feeling that way, right? Or maybe it's because I'm actually dealing with someone who's really unhealthy for me.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's paying attention to that gut reaction.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the biggest thing that I've been seeing consistently is awareness is so
Mm-hmm.
powerful. Just to even ask the question, do I feel right in this situation or do I not feel right in this situation? And it, at least, no, I'm not even going to say at least for me because I have a background in personal training.
Mm-hmm.
When the right questions are asked, people tend to answer them, even if
Mm,
they kind of don't want
yeah.
to answer them. Like they
Yeah.
answer them because the body holds its own map. It's very interesting,
Hmm.
I'm always looking to improve as a question asker, so
Hmm.
that I'm asking the most appropriate question to help someone live their best life. So I love that. Yeah, I absolutely love that. And thank you. And your significant other, he's gonna love me too. So we definitely I gotta hook up with him and say what's
Okay.
up.
That's good.
Um, but as you're going through it, like 2024 ends, what do you want to create? What impact do you want to create for others?
Great question. I really want to get out there more. So even part of my own struggle, if I could be very honest, I'm like, okay, so I've been on international stages doing different variety of things, and I do generally relatively well. I never put myself out there out of fear of being like the narcissistic people in my life. So that's something I'm personally working on. And
Hmm
an amazing coach I'm working with has said, fuck that promise you made, Melissa. Like, we're all vulgar over here. And he's like, that promise you made to someone to never be like your mother is not only hurting you, but hurting thousands of other people you can help. So, as much as I did not like hearing that, as much as it hurt on many levels, I'm like, ugh, okay, Mindy actually has a valid point, and I need to accept that. And so my goal is to actually get out there and speak more about it, to put myself out there, even if it feels exceptionally uncomfortable and I don't like it. I think I'm more the behind the scenes kind of person. So I'm actually creating a 12-week program online for people to help break free from narcissistic abuse. I'm actually working on the research and development stage at this time. I am going to focus more on my specialty so I can help more people. And I really want to do more things like this, bring awareness
Nice.
out there because there is a lot of information out there as well. There's also, unfortunately, a lot of misinformation. And
hmm
to be honest, people who truly survive this have already been gaslit enough that they don't need additional things that can harm them. So while
Yeah.
people may be well intended or something like that, unfortunately, sometimes um, they do harm. And so I want to reduce that harm. I want people to live their best life. My tag or whatever you call it for your business is heal, grow, love. Because I think we all can heal, we all can grow, and we all deserve love.
Love it.
And I really want people to do that. And maybe eventually I'll write my book. But definitely I want to, I want to help and I want to help spread awareness and I don't want to say spread love, but really I do want to do that too. It's like the pageant question, world peace. But I really want people to feel that way. And for someone, to be honest, it's like when someone's sitting there and a client's like, I want to be like you one day, where I can sit there and whatever they think I'm doing at that time, right? Because I work with narcissistic people. I'm certified personality disorder treatment provider as well, right? I deal with, let's say heart issues, right? And
Mm.
it doesn't bother me. Working with them actually energizes me, which a lot of people will find like, but like that's part of my healing, something I worked hard on, right? But it's just like I want people to know that there is something on the other side and that they can live a life worth living. And their
Mm.
past does not define who they are. They decide who they want to become. That's something I have tattooed on my spine, right? Or on the backbone, proud of me. And so like it's like something I really truly believe our past does not need to define who we are.
I
And
love
so
that.
that's what I'll be working on this year. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
So many
So,
questions in
okay,
your head, I
okay,
see it.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, here it is. Here it is. Because
Oh
I'm
boy.
a little bit nuts, but I do it out of
Okay.
love.
Oh.
What is that big uncomfortable thing for 2024 where you're like, holy crap, I did it.
What do you mean that I'm gonna do that I've done already?
That you're going to do.
Oh. What is the big thing? Holy crap, I did. I just did in October, so maybe something like that. Can I have that transferred over to this year? Would that
What'd you do in October?
count?
Please let me know. Yeah, let me know.
It counts. Um, I'm like, I don't know yet. In October, I actually was a keynote speaker at an International Girls Summit in Sierra Leone, and that, you know, I love speaking, I love serving, and it scared the shit out of me. I did a lot of things there that I always told myself I couldn't do, and so probably what I would say is maybe do something again like that.
Nice. Awesome.
Look at different location, yeah. So we'll
Awesome.
for it, yeah.
I love it. I love it. And if if someone is listening right now and they're resonating with you, what you can do for them, how you can serve them, how would they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. I can, my website is one way, or you can email me. I can also, for your listeners, I have a free gift if they're interested to actually find out if they are, in fact, in a relationship with a narcissist. It's a checklist I created, and they can go through and it walks them through a few things. And if they need any additional help, myself or my team would be an honor to, walk alongside them as well too. So I'll send you all that information.
Sweet. I love it.
Yeah.
And now, well, you did say I'm gonna do something similar in 2024, so I guess yes, you answered it in
Okay.
but what I do love is I appreciate you and what you're doing and how you're supporting people. And I really appreciate that you threw the book and you picked it back up. You know, sometimes that thing that gives us our health, it doesn't feel like that thing at first.
Mm,
You know?
yes. It
And
feels like hell, just like when you're training, right?
you know, most people when they first come into the gym, um,
I bet they don't want
they're
to.
quite a bit nervous. Yeah, they're quite a bit nervous.
Yeah, yeah,
But
of course.
as I go through it, I appreciate you saying that you enjoy talking with me
Hmm.
because life was meant to be fun. We were meant to enjoy one another. We were meant to grow together. We were meant to support one another. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way, but there's resources. You know, there's
Hmm.
resources. And thank you for sharing the resource that you have
Absolutely.
with my audience to support them on their journey. And always know, like, I talk about how there's greatness in people. You know, they always have it in them. Sometimes they might not believe it's in them, but go around those who, if you're not believing in yourself, say go around those who do. Just
Mm.
start there. Start there. And do you have any final thoughts that you would like to
Mm.
leave the audience with?
Oh. Yeah, I love how you just put things on the spot. Okay. I kind of wanted to piggyback after what you just said here. To have hope, and one of the joys I have is that the clients with whom I have the honor of serving, they can borrow my hope and strength because I already think they're strong and resilient beyond belief. Right? They
Mm,
can borrow mine until they see it in themselves. And I really want people to know that they can heal from this. It's going to be long. It's going to suck. It's not going to feel good. I promise you that, especially if you're truly dealing with a narcissist. I'm not going to lie. I don't sugarcoat. That is why my business is Keeping It Real Solutions, because I keep it real so you can heal, right? We
mm,
can't heal in isolation. We can't heal from lies. We have to be real. We
mm.
need people, right? Just like what you said. And, I just really want people to know that there is hope out there. Work with people whom you trust, who also have the credentials and preferably who've been there as well too, because then there's the extra, many several benefits that come with that. And know that life can and should be better.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. Send in love and light, and thank you all for listening. I hope you all are having an amazing, amazing day. Take care.
Thanks, Stephanie.
And let me see here.
The record button.
Yeah, you would think it would be easy to find.
I think it's at the bottom where it says the chat. At least on my side, it is.
The weirdest thing, it's usually right.
Maybe under more with the three dots.
Yeah, I tried more and it says live breakout. I am going to do.
I hope your editor's really good then.
Yeah, I tell you. I know it's right in the middle. I saw it. What I'm gonna do, I know you have another appointment. I'm gonna leave, but I wanted to talk to you a little longer as well.
Do you want me to
But I
call you on
know,
Messenger?
yeah, let's
Is that
do